Shalom, shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, Shem Yahushua, Shem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS, the rule and teach well inscriptions, salutations. So my art came out that are doing this work in truth and faith and sincerity. Right now, what we have is a lot of protests, things that are breaking out all across the country in America. And, basically it's going to be soon to push out into the world, which we all always had protests in the world. But things are hitting home right here in the land of our captivity, which is known as America. The Lord is just in the case of George Floyd, and the Lord will avenge on his adversaries. And so we have to understand who his adversaries are. His adversaries are anybody that comes against his people and the law, statutes, and commandments of the Holy Scriptures. So, without further ado, let's get some information on about what's going on. This is from ABC News, and this is just audio, so I'm gonna let this play and add to it.
It's ABC 7 Mornings.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Liz Quartz. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday, May 30th. We continue to follow the protests that have happened overnight in the East Bay and the South Bay over the death of George Floyd, and we're seeing the aftermath now this morning. Of course, George Floyd is the man who died in Minneapolis police custody earlier this week. That sparked nationwide protests. In Oakland, the protesters seemed to disperse around 1:30 this morning. That's after about 5.5 hours of marching and demonstrations. Police say that they are investigating as well an incident involving 2 contract security officers for the Federal Protective Service who were shot. They say one of the officers died from his injury. The other officer is in stable condition. This happened at the federal building on Clay Street at about 9:45 last night. The FBI says a person inside a vehicle began firing gunshots at contract security officers, and police say that they are investigating still to determine whether this shooting is related to the protests. This did happen in the area and around the time of the...
Okay, I'm going to pause there for just a moment. Now, what's going to happen is, with these protests and everything that are brewing up, over here in the States, is that the Lord is, basically executing his judgment. He's also executing prophecy by putting it into the minds of the elites, put it into the minds, of our people, which are Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, to riot. Okay, now, I guess what kicked it off was, it was a Caucasian man walked into AutoZone, busting out the windows. Now, from what we understand, that this guy's a police officer or ex-police officer, one of the two, and these people are paid off by the elites to get shit started and kicked off. Okay, they they are to do the will of the ones that are in power, to do the will of the ones that make the decisions. Okay, the movers and shakers, so to speak. So with that, happening, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, things are brewing. Things are they're ramping up, and there's I believe the mayor, okay, which is a woman. So that's totally a different discussion in itself. But the mayor of Georgia is she's complaining about our people destroying their own neighborhoods and their own businesses out there in America. Which she's a hypocrite in itself, because we all know and understand that the power is given to the women in this society, in this kingdom, and she has power to protest right in front of this man's doorstep. And so you have to ask yourself, well, what did she do, as a result of this man supposedly getting killed? Okay, the answer is nothing. So her statement, her words are not valid because she's done nothing about it. Okay, there's no mention. She's not on the news media for protesting, as far as what she considers or what the government considers a correct way. And she's got a cushy position of power, and she doesn't want to abuse that. So she's going to do exactly what the elites want her to do. And so let's keep playing what we have so far about this protest here in California.
Now, the Federal Protective Service, which falls under the Department of Homeland Security, provides security and law enforcement services at U.S. government facilities. Oakland police, they say that there are no current protests going on right now this morning, but officers have still been patrolling the streets through the night. Protests turned violent after demonstrators clashed with Oakland police officers and shut down Interstate 880 for some time last night. There was that dramatic video. You're seeing some of that here. Hundreds started marching around 8 last night. They made their way onto the interstate as officers monitored the situation from afar. There they are, getting onto a big rig truck. That man there driving the truck, stuck in the midst of all of this. Then the demonstration did continue to escalate, and about an hour later, when officers who lined up to block police headquarters, they sprayed tear gas while protesters set off fireworks and threw bottles. Police say multiple officers were injured. You're seeing inside, I think, a CVS here, some looting. They say objects were thrown by protesters, which injured some officers. Those officers, the condition of them is not known at this time. Oakland police, they have released this preliminary information this morning from the demonstrations. They say as of now, they know that 60 looters were detained for further investigation. 18 people were arrested by Oakland police. 4 people were arrested by outside agencies, so 22 arrests total. 6 Oakland police officers were injured and 7 outside agency law enforcement were injured, so 13 officers injured. Oakland police say that there was significant property damage to businesses in the downtown area of Oakland after these protests last night, something we've been seeing ourselves on morning. Our reporters on the ground there are seeing that too. ABC 7 News reporter Cornell Bernard is live for us outside of the Target store on Broadway and 27th. And Cornell, that's where looters broke windows and stole merchandise. We can see the damage right there behind you, Cornell.
Yeah, that's right, Liz. I have to tell you, block after block, the damage here in downtown Oakland is extensive and it is remarkable. Take a look. This is the Target here at 27th and Broadway. It was looted last night as protesters broke in. Protesters angry over the death of George Floyd. There was thousands of people on the street last night, and up until 25, 30 minutes ago when we showed up, there was still active looting taking place. Oakland police arrived here, I'd say about 15 minutes ago, and chased a few people away, detained several people as well. But now Oakland police are inside the store, which is flooded, as you can tell. The damage goes on block after block, car dealerships, retail establishments. There is a sea of glass everywhere you look. My colleague, Jim Huntington, who is the assignment manager for ABC 7 News, has been on scene much earlier than when we showed up. Jim, I know you've seen a lot today. What have you seen? What kind of damage are you seeing?
Good morning, Cornell. Thank you. Before we go to the video, I'd like to point out that we're talking primarily the damage is done on the commercial corridor of Broadway from about the Marriott at 11th Street all the way up to MacArthur, up near the new Kaiser Hospital. I've also driven around Telegraph and seen very little damage. So what I have witnessed this morning since about 6:30 is just this entire stretch. It's about 30 city blocks where a number of businesses have broken windows, graffiti is everywhere. And let's start with the most important story right now would be the shooting at the Federal Building. The contracted security guard for Homeland Security was shot.
Let's pause that for just one moment. Follow that with a few scriptures about what's going on out there in the world. This is 2 Ezra chapter 2, verse 9, and it reads, "Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were even before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, the end is manifest." And so we're witnessing the end of this system. And all praises are due to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua for destroying this place and making this place a desolation. Okay. Beginning with his prophecies that are happening right now in real time. So we'll go again to we'll follow up with this precept. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 16, and it reads, "For there shall be sedition among men." So are we not seeing sedition in the world, which we understand and we know? "There shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." And so the kings are basically the president here in the United States, and the princes are the governors, mayors. Okay, so this is something definitely to be understood, knowing that we're in the last days, knowing that we're in the last few seconds of Esau Edom's kingdom. It's a very good thing to know and understand that the world, which is wicked, is going to have a terrible ending to it. Okay, it's going to have an utter destruction in the world. And America, which the world knows as thriving and delicate and beautiful, is no longer looked at in that particular way. So let's get some information on this particular guy, this agent provocateur. Okay, we're going to go into the definition. This is Wikipedia, and this goes into, it gives the definition for the word agent provocateur. An agent provocateur, French for enticing agent, is a person who commits or who acts to entice another person to commit an illegal or rash act or falsely implicate them in partaking in an illegal act so as to ruin the reputation or entice legal action against a target or group they belong to. An agent provocateur may be a member of law enforcement, and so that's very evident. This particular guy, we'll get his name in just a moment. Agent, a member of law enforcement agency acting out in their own sense of duty or under orders or other entity. They may target any group such as a peaceful protest or demonstration, a union, a political party, or company. Prevention of infiltration by agent provocateurs is part of the duty of the demonstration marshals, also called stewards, deployed by organizers of large controversial assemblies. And so we have to understand that this is meant for Jake, okay? These agent provocateurs are meant to stir the pot, to bring the chaos, and also, as a result of the chaos, to bring the order. Okay, order out of chaos. Let's get that. Okay, here we go. This is in they saying it's a pop culture, but it's not. It's actually a word that's been used for quite some time. Um, I believe well into the 60s, and they're not putting it up. But okay, I'm just going to read one of the definitions that they have here. The trick of creating chaos and then seizing power under the pretense of putting things back in order is a tried and true method of deception and manipulation. It's the meaning behind the Latin motto, ordo ab chaos, meaning order out of chaos. And so these are what the elites have been planning for centuries. And so, me and prophets of the Lord, we well understand that they're creating the chaos in order to bring this one world system into play. And so I'm going to cut this short, giving all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Hashem Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders that, that's been made a vessel for us to wake up. And you came out there to keep pushing. We're at the end. And our Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Shalom.